14 minutes past 8.
Yet another ace pick from Rialto, the home of fine film.
The way we eat has changed more in the last 50 years than in the previous 10,000. The modern supermarket has on average 47,000 products.
The industry doesn't want you to know the truth about what you're eating, because if you knew, you might not want to eat it. We've never had food companies this powerful in our history.
Everything we've done in modern agriculture is to grow it faster, fatter, bigger, cheaper.
If you could grow a chicken in 49 days, why would you want one you got to grow in 3 months?
When you go through the supermarket, there is an illusion of diversity. So much of our industrial food turns out to be rearrangements of corn.
All right, I'm already freaked out. And that's just the trailer. Food Inc. is the film that we're looking at with John Henderson today to get his thoughts on this brand new documentary. Good morning, John.
Good morning. Well, it's a story about a burger. It's a lot more than that.
I recognise the voice narrating that, or I could be wrong. Sounds like
Oh,
John,
look,
sounds like
if you-
John Malkovich.
It's not him, but it does sound like him. If you can get past those Midwestern American accents, there's a lot more going on than just that.
Right.
It's unbelievable. This is a movie about food, mass-produced food, and when I went and saw it, I was absolutely horrified. I'm glad I'd had a burger before, because afterwards I never wanted to see a burger ever again.
But
Ever.
And what context is this? I mean, this is an American context, surely.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because on the way out of the theatre, there was some guys behind me on the elevator saying, yeah, but, that's only in America. Surely it doesn't happen here. And I thought to myself, well, I think it was a lot more relevant than we may actually realise.
Okay.
Because there's big money in mass-producing food. And I was thinking, okay, Progressive just bought Countdown last year and took over foodstuffs, and so this kind of thing's happening.
Did you hear that Woolworths, the brands Woolworths and Foodtown are going to disappear?
Oh, really?
It's all going to be Countdown.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Does that mean we can count on our prices staying down? Probably not.
Doubt it.
Because that's the great thing about consumerism and capitalism is once you've got a monopoly, you can do what you want.
Yeah. So, how does this documentary set the scene? I mean, what's its premise? What's it setting out to do?
Well, it's kind of a video documentary. There's a chap called Robert Kenner. He uses investigative journalism techniques, and he pulls the curtain back on the food industry. And as your trailer said, reveals the truth about what you're eating. Well, it is unbelievable. He's used a couple of investigative journalists, Eric Schlosser, who was the author of Fast Food Nation, and Michael Pollan, author of The Omnivore's Dilemma. So they're the film's expert spokesmen.
Okay.
And they are very good. The movie plays out as a documentary about the food industry. No particular food group is spared. We start with beef, move on to chicken and pork, find out that most of the food being eaten in America, and potentially here, I say potentially, is mass farmed now. So there's an illusion when you go into the supermarket of everything being sort of free-ranged and born free, this kind of thing, where 50 acres and a mule, no problem, the cow's going to be fine, it's out there doing its thing. In America, that's not the case. There's hundreds of cows per square acre, literally wallowing around for their whole lives in their own feces.
Yeah.
Because of the mass-produced nature of the food over there, they actually aren't able to clean the beasts as well as they would once they've been slaughtered. So the E. coli epidemics are starting to hit, where people are dying from eating food that's been tainted by bad things.
We've seen this before. Fast Food Nation lifted the lid on this one as well, didn't it?
Well, it did, and one of the investigative journalists who was the author of that is well into this. So it's nothing new, but at the same time, it's a lot further than just talking about beef and pigs and chicken. It's talking about all sorts of things. It's going on about the fact that Monsanto have actually patented a gene for corn, so that if you're growing corn now and you happen to grow their corn, and then you save a little bit for the following year, which is typical farm practice, you can be sued for it.
Right.
Because they own the actual, they own that genetic blueprint, which means you no longer have choices in what you grow. You have to grow their corn, And so it goes on. It was a very fascinating movie.
It is funny, though. I mean, it depends on what sort of films you're into and what sort of documentaries you like watching. But I've heard all this before, and many years ago as well. And I just wonder if these documentaries like this. I mean, sure, it's better to get the word out there, but it just doesn't seem to be changing anything. You know, it's like after Super Size Me as well. You think, but less people would be heading to the fast food chains. No, probably more people are heading to the fast food chains.
In these hard economic times especially. Yeah. Well, there may be a bit of that, but I also think that there are a lot of people that are starting to grow their own veggies, are a little bit more distrusting of a lot of the things that are or are not written on packages in supermarkets. So it is an educational flick.
I guess, that's true, and I guess it has worked on me. I mean, I'm more cautious these days, so I suppose the education that's getting out there through documentaries like this does get through, but it's a slow process.
As far as the movie's concerned, it's a little bit like Al Gore without the PowerPoints.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's a lot more interesting than that. There's not much Michael Moore going on, so it's not so much finger pointing as enlightenment.
Okay, yeah.
Though the connection between big business in America and politics is not tenuous. It's there and it's vast.
Yeah.
And that comes out in the film, which I found really interesting, just who's been cutting deals and been given huge amount of discount subsidies in order to grow certain things. It was good. I didn't know a lot of these things.
It's amazing.
I came away thinking to myself, look, how does this happen, and how can we change these things? And I think we change these things by doing our own thing.
Okay, and what you mean by growing our own?
Or asking for, well, look, I'd like more organic food at the supermarket, so I'll pay $1 more, sort of thing.
Okay,
so
asking the questions.
Yeah, because that does come across in the movie. Walmart executives, even though they're obviously making a buck out of it, are saying, we'll come on board if there is enough of a demand for it, we will supply it.
Yeah, it's got to be consumer driven because the producers aren't going to change by themselves, are they?
No.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing how distant we've come from our food source? You know, in the last 50 years, how distant we are from where food originates.
Yeah, I have no idea where most of the things I'm buying in the supermarket come from. And apparently, according to the film, and I say that according to the film because I haven't done my own research on this one, even though you think you've got a huge variety of food sources at the supermarket, it's 5 or 6 main suppliers that own all of these things. They've just put different packages on them. They're just labelled differently. They're different colours. It was really surprising.
It's concerning. Well, what would you give this documentary out of 5, John?
Oh, it's rolling in there at a 4. I came away from it never wanting to see a burger again and wondering what was in my chicken tikka masala. So you'll never go to the Quickie Mart again after this one. At least until the next day.
And until the memory fades of the documentary. Yeah, you kind of need to watch it every day, to stay on top of it.
It's a pretty scary movie.
Hey, thanks very much, John.
Nice one, Wammo.
Catch you next time. See ya.
That people actually felt better, had more energy, and weren't sick as much. Now see, that's a noble goal.
People have got to start demanding good, wholesome food of us, and we'll deliver. I promise you.
Sweet as. Check out rialto.co.nz for a little more.